Okay, guys, I have the honor to wake you up after lunch with the brownies and the whiteys. I'm glad to do that. This stream is really about megatrends or segmentation. And what I wanted to show you today is how we implemented the segmentation at a couple of clients. I use one client where we did it very extensively. And as you may know, oftentimes in a segmentation, and it sounds good, it's easy and nice for media placement, or it's good to have customer values in ABC, etc., or socio-demographic, whatever. But it's always hard to see how do I implement it. What does it actually mean? How do I gear my products towards it, or my sales force, or my call center, or my strategy, whatever. And this is really trying to tackle that problem, which we did successfully at a couple of clients, and I'm going to show you that. Most of you know our grips typology a little bit. For the others, for the new faces, I will go through it in 5 minutes. If there are more questions, we can talk about it later. Just a quick reminder. Basically, at the heart of all of it is how do customers, how do clients actually decide which product they want to take? And let's watch a little sequence of Steve Ballmer, 2007, when he first was commenting the introduction of the new iPhone. What was his reaction to it? You might not hear well.
$500 fully subsidized with a plan that now, it makes up very well, right? We have our strategy for mobile devices in the market today. $99. It's a very capable machine. You can music, do internet, do email, do instant messaging.
I'll stop this here. Nobody can hear it, right?
They're not hearing.
I can't hear you.
She has speakers.
She has speakers.
Yes.
Okay, then let's
Get your speakers because that would be good. Thank you.
Make it very quick.
They're USB powered, right? Yes, they are.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, let's try that again.
And is the volume or something?
Yes.
Better now.
It's much better, right?
Did you put it in the headphone jack?
Yeah, it's in. It's in the headphone jack's in.
Email machine. Now, it may sell very well or not,
Okay, third time is a charm, and
Yes.
if not, we don't need it.
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers because it doesn't have a keyboard, which makes it not a very good email machine. Now, it may sell very well or not, We have our strategy. We've got great Windows mobile devices in the market today. You can get a Motorola Q phone now for $99. It's a very capable machine. It'll do music, it'll do internet, it'll do email, it'll do instant messaging. So I kind of look at that and I say, well, I like our strategy. I like it a lot.
I like our strategy.
I like
I like it a lot. The Microsoft market share for the operating systems is 4.7 for those who can't see it, and 29.6 for Apple. What went wrong? He was in his mind appealing, Alex, you mentioned before, to the homo economicus, to the rational decider. He wants a cheap system with everything on it, give him everything at a very good price. That's how people decide in general. There's no emotion involved, no other reasons whatsoever. That's it. And that's about what you get out of it. And I think the question really then becomes, how can we convince our clients how people actually decide? And if they believe in the homo economicus who says, I'm perfectly informed, I always know exactly what I want, I have gotten all the information, I've made the decision for myself, I approach a decision, of course, in a very detached manner. There's no emotion with this. This is all more a logical process that's going on. And I always choose the product which offers the best value for the money. If that's my approach, there's only one person that I personally know, well, I don't know personally, and that's a fiction, just as the concept itself. What we need to reckon is that people decide differently. And as I say, I'm going through this quickly, but the decision rules that really guide our behavior each and every day with every purchasing or buying decision that we make or may refer or not make is that we have certain motives. We might want to reward ourselves for something, we might give something to somebody else, we might have a social conscience, or we want to appeal to fairness. Whatever the motive is in our purchase, we need to know it and reckon it. There can be an interest in price or no interest in price. Often enough, and I show you examples, you buy something where you had no interest in price and you didn't even know the price. And when I asked you about how would you evaluate the price, is that expensive or is it cheap, you might not even know. And the same triangle here of interest, knowledge, and assessment also goes for product features. Do I even know the product or not? Am I interested in many of the features, or do I really care? And then, of course, customers do have different purchasing processes and information processes. Some are very thorough. They look at every journal and every magazine and every bits of piece that they find and inform themselves about it. They do exist. And others really don't care. So how do they go about informing themselves? How do they decide? Who in the end actually decides? Do I have somebody else decide for me by just following the recommendation, or is it my own decision? So you see there are many variables that we need to understand. Cutting this all short is that we developed the GRIPS typology, which was really based on this large pricing study that we did many years ago here in the IRIS context. And the one type of shoppers and decision makers we have is, of course, the bargain hunter. We all know him. And I have 5 types. Go through it in your mind, because all of us are all 5 types for different products and different services. So don't think badly of one or the other because it's you. Yeah. We all have a different context. So you have the bargain hunter who really enjoys the process of informing and going through it and finding the best deal. And what motivates that person most in that context for that product is they want to win. They want to win the process and say, like, I made the best deal. Even if afterwards they find out that they didn't really want it, but they saved so much. It's me coming home, say I saved 30 euro today, and my wife says, yeah, but you spent 120. Did you want that? No, but I saved 30. So that's oftentimes the process here. Then we have the risk avoider. That's in a context where you don't really feel well informed, you don't know much about it, maybe it's technical issues that you don't want to penetrate really. In any way, you feel cautious and you feel like you are more likely to make a mistake than to actually benefit from the decision. You feel like you don't have all the information, and the company that does has the information, either with respect to pricing or the quality of the product. So you're cautious. We have the indifferent buyer. That's the one that really is not interested in any comparison. They're not interested in the product. They don't care about informing themselves. They have a desire, they have a need. They want to just fulfill that requirement. A good combination, for example, is also me when I go and have to gas up the car. On my way to work, there's several gas stations. I know exactly when their prices are up or low. I always go to the cheapest. I'm the bargain hunter here. On the way home, though, I just gassed up the car with the cheapest diesel I could manage. I go into the shop. I'm really hungry, and when when I have enough sugar in my system, I'm really unbearable, even to myself. So I have to get a Mars bar, right? And I don't look at the price. Or I get a sandwich. I don't even look at the price. My desire, my need is to get something, food, and I don't compare. And I know I'm getting ripped off, but I don't care. So that's the indifferent buyer, a spontaneous buyer, impulse buyer, or somebody who has just a requirement at that point, need. We have the loyal buyer, of course. The loyal buyer is somebody who places great confidence in the product or in the brand. Even if he or she has not experienced that particular brand themselves, they still place a lot of trust and confidence into that brand. And obviously then they don't really care either what other options are out there or how they should decide otherwise, because they just go for the known option. And lastly, we have the price acceptor. The price acceptor is somebody who really gets excited about products too. He likes to get informed about it and excited about it and likes every feature about it. It's the person who, when they go and buy a car, they sit into the car and they smell the leather, it's so fresh and new, and the GPS, the screen is really big and the seat feels comfortable, and then they buy it, and while they had maybe a budget of 30,000, they spend 38,000, and they're really happy about it because they know it was worth it. Every cent was worth it. So they're accepting higher prices even though they said before that they would not do that. One important thing is that all markets can be divided up in these 5 groups, but the composition of the markets is very different. It's not only different in each country that we surveyed, but it's also different across industries, and it's different for each brand within the industry. I don't want to really go into all the details what the bubbles are right now, but you really can segment it down to the individual brand of a company, and that is very important, because only when I know my own composition of these types can I cater my whole actions towards this particular composition. Another very important message is that the companies themselves shape the composition of the market. What we see here is the makeup of the market for mobile phone contracts in Germany in the year 2005. So before 2005 and 2005, that was the markup. You had a lot of bargain hunters, but the risk avoiders were the majority. Those were the ones that had all this tariff jungle and that knew that they would never be able to penetrate all these tariff plans and understand if they get the best deal or not. And even if they thought they did, tomorrow there were different tariffs and they would lose out.